Recently, I've been travelling around the diocese, visiting priests, their leadership teams. In part, it's a part of our whole renewal program we call New Directions. But in the course of it, I've been struck by a challenge that I'd like to share with you. At every point in all of the conversations I've had so far, we reach a moment where we sit and we lament or notice that the number of people coming to church has declined, and that we don't see in our churches the young and the young families in the way we used to. Then the conversation will turn to, well, how can we attract them back into church? Or we might quite genuinely say, at least many of our young people have our values and are living them in the community, even if they're not in the church. But what has struck me as a challenge is that I think we need, while all of that's true, we need to completely reverse some of how we think about that. And in fact, it's going back to the gospel in a way that Pope Francis has reminded us recently. Pope Francis, in The Joy of the Gospel, said very famously, I want a church that is out into the streets, a church that gets dirty and bruised, a church that takes risks. The gospel is a powerful force. It's not to be contained in the walls of a building. So part of our challenge is, even if there are 3 people in the church only, to go out into the world and do what Jesus did. We don't have to go so far. We don't have to go to Asia or Africa. In almost every street of every parish, including yours, there will be somebody elderly and lonely. There are young people struggling for a sense of purpose or meaning. Too many young people caught up in behaviours around alcohol or drugs that are damaging them. We have people trying to find a home in our country. We have Indigenous people whose rate of education is too low, whose rate of infant mortality is too high. We've got parents, men and women trying to bring up families on their own. Everywhere we look, there are human beings, our brothers and sisters, who need assistance, need support, need to realise they're valued and they're loved. So, the whole question for the renewal of our church is not singly, how do we get everybody into our church? It's how do we who are in the church get out into the streets and do what Jesus did? Be a witness to the compassion, the love and the care of God among others. More profoundly than anything else we do, working out how to change our boundaries, extend our resources or anything else, this renewal of heart, a heart of love for our brothers and sisters, that's going to be the heart of the renewal of the church. That's going to be the heart of our new directions.